Hi guys, I'm going to be showing you how to make a fabric and knit scarf combined. So the first thing I did was knitted a giant tube on my Addy knitting machine. It came to be about 7 inches wide, and then I kind of slip stitched the rings together like I've shown you in some of my other videos. So I have a nice neat finished end on both. I will be hiding these strings before I begin the sewing portion. Next, you're going to want to get some flannel fabric. Since my knit tube was 7 inches wide, I made my fabric 14 inches wide plus a 1/2 inch allowance for the seam. And then I cut it to be 41 inches long so that when it's done it will be 40 inches long with an inch allowance for the seam. So 1/2 inch on either side where we'll be connecting it. You can see on mine I've actually doubled it up, so this is a fold on this end, so it's one long big piece. So I've got my fabric facing with the right side down. This short side right here is going to be where you connect it to your knit tube, so we need to make sure that the unfinished edge is not showing at the end. So to do that, I've marked, I actually have lots of marks on here, so ignore most of them, but you go ahead and you mark across 1 inch down from this edge. So here, here, here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fold your end so it touches those marks. So you've got 1/2 inch of the fabric, the right side of the fabric showing on top. Go ahead and iron this down, and then we're going to pin it. So I will be right back. I'm going to go iron my tube. All right, so I am back. I have ironed my ends, so I have a nice seam allowance there. I'm going to take my pins and just go ahead and pin that down so it stays. And then go ahead and repeat on the other side. All right, so when you're done, you'll have both short ends pinned down like that. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to flip our tube over, and you're going to fold it against the length, hot dog style, and make sure that your edges match up there. The nice thing about flannel is that it does stick to itself, so you can add in a pin here or there to make sure it doesn't unfold, which is what I'm going to go ahead and do. And once you have that done, what we're going to do is we are going to leave a 1/2 inch seam allowance on this side. So if it helps you, you can mark it. I have a sewing machine foot that I can mark 1/2 inch with, so I'm just going to go nice and straight up the side. All right, so now you have a tube that is sewn up one side and pinned on each short end. Go ahead and very carefully, because you do have pins in it, you're going to turn your tube back inside out and try to leave your pins in, but if you have to take them out, go ahead and take them out. Okay, so I have my tube flipped right side out. The short ends are open with the pins still in to do the seam, and the long side is sewn together. Your seam should be on the inside. I went ahead and pressed mine gently with an iron just so it would keep its shape, which I think makes it easier to sew the knitted tube on either end. So what you're going to do is find one of the short ends, and you're going to take one of the short ends of your knit tube, and you're going to insert your knitted side inside your tube. So mine comes to about right there, which is a little too much. I'm going to pull it out. Try to make it as even across as possible. You really only need about a 1/2 inch overlap. but you can do a little more if you want. And you're going to sew across with your sewing machine. Now remember that your seam is only 1/2 inch, so you want to make sure that when you sew, you don't go more than a 1/2 inch in, because you want to catch the seam to keep it from coming out. All right, so when you're done, take it out of your sewing machine, go ahead and trim your thread ends, and you'll have one side of your fabric connected to one side of your knit tube. Go ahead and repeat on your other 2 sides. Make sure to untwist your tube before you sew. You want it to be nice and flat, and then just insert into your fabric tube and then sew across the end again. All right, and after you sew the second side, you have your scarf and you're all done. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Check out some of my other videos. I'll be posting some more and some basic tutorials coming soon.